And a good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz with your 10 Weather Impact Show on this Wednesday afternoon. A mainly cloudy, a somewhat cooler, breezy, and at times wet afternoon, which is fine. A little bit of a break or a difference from some of the severe weather we've had over the past couple of days, but we talked about it last week. Over the past few days, have realized that we certainly need the rain, but we can do without the strong storms or the severe weather. So talking about the chance of rain showers sticking around for the short term, we're looking right now at the moment, dry conditions, albeit mostly cloudy. I did put the shades on the way into work this afternoon, but overall, one or two pockets of blue, that was really about it. For the moment, though, your afternoon plans and your early afternoon and evening plans, kids after school, you got practice, got an event, want to walk the dog, you should be okay. As we expand this perspective, though, just a bit, you will notice a couple of the showers kind of around the edges, most notably to the north and west of Columbus, north and east over near Millersburg, and then southeast, a renegade shower around Fayette County. But for the moment, that's about it. And as long as we stay mostly cloudy, the chance isn't zero, but it's pretty low of seeing some stronger thunderstorms out there. Had a few strikes this morning down to the south or southern third of the viewing area. Might see a few more this evening, but overall the trend will be what you're seeing is what you're getting. Generally cloudy skies, somewhat coolish temperatures, and a chance for some showers and an isolated rumble of thunder, not out of the question. We're going to expand this further still and kind of show we're talking about around the edges, literally north, northeast, southeast, and south. That's kind of where the showers are located, although we are watching kind of a broken line working back from Lima back toward areas in Indianapolis. That's simply broadening the perspective to show you behind that, that's dry air. It will eventually be working its way here, but some spots taking the better part of 24, maybe 36 hours to get here. Here's the latest models, though, going through the rest of the evening hours for us, starting at 3:30 this afternoon up until about 6 o'clock to 7 p.m. This is just before sunset. Notice the scattered nature of the showers. One or two areas might see a little darker green, maybe some yellow, maybe a hint of some thunderstorms and some gusty winds. Coverage not expected to be terribly impressive or concerning, but if you're underneath one of those showers or maybe one of those storms, just do what you would normally do. Just kind of seek shelter, wait it out, as nothing we see is going to be terribly long-lived or really cause grave concern. Once we get beyond that, through the rest of the evening, we'll see a few more pop-ups here and there, but without the energy and the warmth of the day, that activity subsides until about midnight, and then we're watching. Remember I said that it takes a while for that dry air to get in? It's not going to be tonight or even tomorrow morning for our friends and neighbors across the south because that next wave of precipitation begins to lift on through. By 3:30 in the morning, could see some downpours, maybe one or two window rattlers in there around Zanesville, around New Lexington, Lancaster, McConnellsville, and then back to the southwest around London, Washington Courthouse, Circleville, and Chillicothe. That's 3:30 in the morning. For this present model, that's as far out as that run goes. We'll pick it up going through the rest of your Thursday in a moment, but just know that there will be a lull in the precipitation early tonight into the wee hours of your Thursday morning, but then we could see some more showers that may impact your plans if you're a very early riser or if you're living, working, or traveling in those areas. But another vantage point right now, if you look really closely, you begin to see just a little bit of that green showing up after a couple of rounds of very heavy rain. Just last week, this was a parched slate of brown at the side of Audubon Park. Now we're catching just a little bit of a break. Cloudy skies continue. That's keeping temperatures in check. But if you see a prolonged period of some dry weather this afternoon, maybe a patch or two of blue skies, temperatures will get back in the low 70s, mid 70s, but that's where we're at right now at John Glenn, 75. Winds are calm at the moment, and we're not talking for a terribly windy afternoon. The exception being in some of those showers, which will kind of move things around just a bit. But even in a few of those healthier downpours, while they will be few and far between, might also be accompanied by some gusty winds. One thing you'll also notice, temperatures last week, we cooled down fast and heated up even faster with that huge range of over 30 degrees during the day from morning to afternoon. This time we're going to go to about 10 degrees cooling from this afternoon, all the way to tomorrow morning, going from the mid-70s down to the low to mid-60s. And then we'll see that again turn around during the day tomorrow, looking at a relatively mild start, although we will have a better chance of some morning showers tomorrow, going from the mid-60s into the mid-70s, and that'll be about it. Admittedly, these temperatures are cooler than normal, but I venture to guess that many would agree that they're a bit more comfortable than the 80s and some spots 90s that we had over the past couple of weeks, certainly feeling a bit more like fall. As promised, here's a look at the extended model runs through your Thursday. Starting off right around sunrise tomorrow morning, you will notice right around Franklin County, making for a pretty soggy start to the day, back down toward London, Washington Courthouse, Circleville, and Chillicothe. Some gusty showers and maybe an early morning rumble of thunder there. Dog walk, wait at the bus stop, commute in the morning could be a little bit dicey, so just give yourself some extra time distance, and patience. As we go through the morning hours, through about 10 o'clock, that main area begins to shift off toward the northeast. Again, still favoring the first part of the day for those showers and perhaps a rumble of thunder. Through the afternoon, things are looking and feeling a little more better, a little improving. We will see a last area of some scattered showers kind of rotating on through. That's the case around 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Not enough to cancel your plans, not near the coverage or the intensity of those showers in the morning, but it might be enough to cause a couple of raindrops to come on through, and that continues on and off, mostly off until about sunset tomorrow evening. Then we'll look at the overall pattern beginning to change just a little bit, and this is a broad look over the next 10 days, which effectively gets us through the end of the month and even into early October. Where you see that green, generally speaking, that's up to about a ½ inch to almost an inch of rain. Where you see that blue, the lighter blue transitioning over the purple, that's between 1 inch to about 2 inches plus of rain. Again, just a generalization, but at least this map is showing some color, because as we showed this map a couple of weeks ago leading up to the rain past few days, it was very, very dry. And we are seeing, again, at least that chance. It's typical this time of the year of seeing several rounds of some scattered showers. 10 weather impact 7-day forecast for you. A couple of showers, mainly front loaded in the first half of the day. Tomorrow 75 and more clouds than sun to finish. Friday is on track to be a dry day. Cannot rule out a shower on Friday, especially in the afternoon, but should not be enough to dampen those high school football games. We're already getting into the second half of the season. Saturday to Sunday, remember the Buckeyes are away, but it should be a nice afternoon for you to gather with some friends and family and to watch that game. Sunday, 81 for a high, not bad at all. A little taste of above normal temperatures that picks up on Monday at 82, and reasonably dry conditions should continue as we get through Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And those conditions looking pretty good as we look at numbers right at or just above where they should be this time of the year. Now, with our forecast, at least for the next few days, feeling a bit more fall-like, it's about time to think about saving energy as our weather gets cooler. So those heating and cooling systems, generally the biggest energy users in homes, especially during extreme hotter and cooler parts of the year. And even changing the temperature just a few degrees could make a big difference in your electric bill and on your wallet. If you live in an apartment or a condo, another impact you may not have thought of is where your unit is located.
Exterior units tend to use 10 to 20% more heat than interior units. Units on a corner can use 25% more energy than units that are not on a corner.
Interesting. Now, if you're in the market to move and wish to save a couple of bucks on future energy costs, try and get a report breaking down the average cost for each specific unit. And if you're not going anywhere anytime soon, here are some ways to save as we head further into fall. Nationwide energy partners say you should set your thermostat as low as you can tolerate it, or your partner, as long as it's comfortable, especially when you're sleeping or out of the house. Also, avoid using emergency heat or e-heat setting, because that is much less energy efficient. And if you haven't already, make the switch to energy efficient lighting. Those LEDs, instead of incandescent bulbs, they save a lot of energy and they throw off a lot less heat. And you've probably heard this before, but make sure you unplug all electronic devices you're not using. Nationwide Energy Partners says your computer, your gaming system, even your TV can draw power even when they're off and you might not be home. Now, speaking of fall, we are going to start seeing those changing colors very soon. And while the foliage is ready for fall, leaf collections are still a ways away. In Hilliard, for example, the first leaf collection of the season officially starts the week of October 20th. That's about a month away. Right now, we're still in chipper season as you're cleaning up from that late summer debris for trims and brush and limbs, etc. The final collection days are for this Friday, September the 26th, and next month on October the 10th. Now, speaking of leaves, it's always great to get outside and see some of those great fall colors we have here in Ohio before they start falling, and then you've got to pick them up. Now, if you're planning on traveling to do so, one of the best places to head is up north. Dan Wolf reports from Luston, Minnesota.
There's not a North Shore fall foliage view better than the one from a gondola high above Lutsen Mountains.
It's a beautiful ride up. It's even more spectacular once you get up to the summit.
The winter ski destination is the must-visit spot of autumn. Hitching a ride over top of thousands of maples, birch, and aspen is breathtaking. You can also get out at the halfway point to snap a pic or two from the mountain's scenic overlook and grab a view of Lake Superior.
We have the only gondola in the Midwest, so it's kind of a rare opportunity that you get to be inside this kind of enclosed space and just experience this incredible view that you can't get otherwise.
We're here about 2 weeks before peak color, but still the reds and oranges are spectacular and Lutsen Mountains is ready for the crowds.
Our team has been gearing up for weeks, just getting ready for fall colors. It's quite a peak time, no pun intended.
But there are plenty of other options to see the fall colors on foot up and down the shore as well. Whether it's here in Cross River or here at Tetegooch State Park or Gooseberry Falls State Park. There are hundreds of miles of trails from the tip of the Arrowhead to Duluth. And after your last one of the day, hike on into Castle Dangers and Two Harbors.
We get so many people up here that are coming up to check out all the leaves, the fall colors.
They're already starting to see the leaf peepers come through, and they're ready with a special seasonal beer, the Maple Märzen.
That is an Oktoberfest style beer. Ours is a little bit unique in that we brew it with maple syrup. So most of that sugar in the maple syrup ferments out during the brewing process. So what you're left with is a really nice malty beer with some maple character to it.
It's refreshing and not as dark or sweet as you'd think. A North Shore fall visit filled with flavors and views you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else in the region.
I would definitely say Twin Cities, Duluth area, these are kind of some can't miss opportunities for those people down there.
Now on to some news about our environment and the impacts of climate change, with scientists seeing a dramatic difference in the landscape of the Swiss Alps. Researchers say the unusually dry winters and this year's scorching summer are fueling a rapid melt. One glacier lost nearly 20 feet in just the past year alone. Experts now call it a dying glacier that's on track to disappear soon.
At this place where we are standing, there will be no ice in maybe 5 years from now. If we look to the higher regions, to this plateau, there it will certainly take longer, maybe 40, 50 years, but it's a glacier that will disappear.
Wow. Experts with glacier monitoring Switzerland say nearly 100 glaciers have vanished in just 6 years, signaling an urgent environmental crisis. Now, another impact we can see from climate change is the impact on the water patterns and where we see droughts developing during the year. These droughts can lead to water shortages, but out of Antioch, California, they've employed a new technology that promises a secure water future, and that's all thanks to the city's past. John Ramos explains.
When it comes to drought, we tend to have a short memory. Once it starts raining, it's out of sight, out of mind. But the city of Antioch had a unique opportunity, and they've constructed one of the most innovative water plants in the Bay Area. When Marcus Woodland enters the newest addition to the city's water treatment plant, he's looking at what other cities may have in their future. One of the first operating desalination plants in the Bay Area. The water comes from the delta, a mix of fresh and salt water called brackish. Upon arrival, the water is sent through the normal treatment process.
It is clean and filtered water. It just has a lot of salt in it. So we pump that from a plant all the way up to here. This is a first stage booster pump. This pumps it into the top, which is the first stage membranes.
Reverse osmosis pumps the salty water under high pressure through membranes with tiny holes that only water molecules can pass through. Half of it will be discharged as clean drinking water.
The other half will go down to this booster pump, which goes to this bottom, and that has 17 vessels. That'll recover about half of the water that goes in there. Half of what goes in there will become drinking water, and then the other half will be disposed at Delta Diablo, which is the wastewater treatment plant.
From there, the salty brine is released back into the delta. The plant cost about $100 million to build, but the power costs for the huge pumps, coupled with the cost of raw water, makes the process cost prohibitive for most cities. That's where Antioch's history tips the scales. The city, nicknamed Rivertown, was established in 1849 as a river stop for the gold rush. Because of that, Antioch enjoys primary water rights from the delta, meaning they don't have to pay for the water they take from it.
This is the water treatment plant intake.
Stan Davis began working as a city engineer in 1969. He retired nearly 30 years ago, but even then he says the city was already considering desalination as a water source.
Well, it's the only city in the area that can do that. We had the only water rights in the area to begin with, and now we've got the ability to use the water all year and not just part of the year. I think it's great. it's good to have that backup there for the additional quantity of water when the water out there is not that good.
Since it opened last week, the plant has been running 24/7, pumping out about 6 million gallons of fresh water per day. It has the potential to supply 40% of the city's water needs, and Woodland thinks with construction costs going up, it only makes sense for other cities to begin planning for desalination now.
So this would have been more beneficial a couple years ago, but everything's cyclical. So it was dry once, it'll be dry again. What point does it make financial sense for them to invest the money? Are they going to wait until they run out of water before they start seeking alternatives? Or are they going to see on the horizon that, alternative water supplies are going to be needed, so let's start the infrastructure now?
Just like the famous quote, the Bay Area is surrounded by water, water everywhere, nor any a drop to drink. But not in Antioch. They understand that waiting for a drought to happen is the wrong time to be investing in the future.
Really interesting. Now, finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. Severe thunderstorms pounded central portions of Texas earlier this week, leaving behind damage from large hail and gusts over 60 miles an hour. The video here shows some strong wind, rain, lightning, and hail move right into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Some impressive views of the impact of these big late-season strong storms. Now, from severe weather to winter storms, check this out. Tuesday morning, people were enjoying hiking in the first fall of snow in the Loveland Pass, right near the White River National Forest in Colorado. One man stopped at a national park sign to take a selfie with his dog. Snow blanketed many trees and the ground, and that snowfall ended up prompting the first winter weather advisory of the season for the northern Front Range of the mountains as well. So that's it for your weather update here on 10 TV Plus. No snow anytime soon. Chances of some thunderstorms, hopefully not severe weather here in central Ohio. But for the latest forecast, I'll be back at 4 o'clock on 10 TV. You can always check an update for you on 10tv.com and 10 TV Plus. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon.